Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob the Rob's Dirty Knives. We're doing a review impressions of a loan knife from Mountain EDC. Thank you, Trish. This is the Clark Custom Knives, Model 42 with S90V blade steel, natural micarta, natural canvas micarta. So let's take a look at this and let's talk about it. All right, so today we're looking at the Clark Custom Knives Model 42. Y'all know 42 is a popular number in our channel. We love that for the Guardians, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's the answer to the universe if you haven't read the book. And something we do a lot on the live stream, so it's kind of fun. This right here is a Clark Customs Knives that was lent to me by Mountain EDC by Trish. Very, very interesting knife to check out. It has a few interesting things about it that are a little outside of my aesthetic personally, right? This recurve is kind of unique, very big belly right there. I think that's kind of unique as well. I'm not always a micarta fan, so that's kind of different. It does have a floating backspacer, which I think is pretty cool. And that is a steel backspacer and titanium liners, right? So typically, and it does look like the backspacer is going to be S90V, which just looks very similar to the blade. It does look like it has the same grain kind of structure if you look after it's polished. So I wonder, Spyderco does that with their Shamans and their Bodacious. The backspacer is made out of the same material. You can see in here where it says 60 RC for HR rock hardness, I believe. And then it's S90V, and then there is a IKISS. I'm assuming that's for maybe caged bearings or whatever, some sort of thing that they use. I know some people use some other terms for it. Don't know what they are. I know it's all called caged bearings, but I'm not a knife maker, so I'm sure that's a different one. I would use Skiffs personally. I found those to be the best, but there you go. Again, this was a loaner. So if you're curious, this is the little card on there, certificate of authenticity. I can't talk today. My goodness. Jason Clark is a knife maker. Model 42 configurations called LL, S90V, HRC 60. Liner frame is titanium and natural canvas micarta. So if you're ever curious, there's Jason Clark. He has an Instagram page. He also has a website and an email address if you're interested in getting some knives from him. He has some other cool designs. This was interesting. I love the action on it. A lot of things to like. There's some unique things on here. So one thing I found here is this jimping that he has on here. Looks really, really cool, I will tell you, but I'm very cautious about touching it. And likewise here as well, because it's very sharp. I don't know what he does and how he gets that fine line going on in there, but I got to tell you, my finger right here, look at all that slicing, and here, that's from this. If I put my finger on there and I do this, it's super crazy sharp. So I don't know if that's normal, but I did not care for that. So I'm being very cautious dealing with that. You can choke up a little bit here. It's not big enough really for a full choke up. So right here, large hands, this I don't care for. This is for smaller fingers. I can't get two fingers in there. It doesn't feel natural. I feel very pushed in there. So I don't like it when they do that. I wish it was a little wider, has the ability to move around. Not a fan of that. Right, very sharp edges. If this was my knife, I would be filing those edges down. But as you buy a custom knife, you spend $800,000-$900,000 on a knife. I don't know how much this one is. I'm going to guess it's between $650 and $850. It's hard to find the prices because he makes certain models, and when they're available, and when they're not, they're not. So I do not recall what Trish said this one was. I think it was $650 or $750, maybe $850. I can't remember. But anyways. Interesting canvas. I do like it. It's beautiful in that regard. So that's unique jimping. I think it's cool, but boy, is it sharp. And yeah, is it that's kind of me? No, it is the flipper. So once I use the flipper right here, you can see that. So what I do is I use the light switch right now. So I'm not touching that. You do clear the detent right there, so you have to catch it right there, and that does have a chance to fall on you, which again, that's kind of a bummer for me. I wish it was that the case. It is beautifully dead nut centered. The action's great. It's very beautiful. This is a mid-tech custom. I would call it a custom knife, right? Some people will say machine assisted, which makes it mid-tech. I call this custom. That's fine. You call it what you want. Scale materials on natural canvas micarta, S90V blade steel, titanium liners, titanium clip, steel backspacer, which I'm going to guess is S90V. It just seems like it. Some sort of caged bearings. I'm not sure what they're called. Some people use some interesting terms for it. So it looks like caged bearings to me, at least. It is made in the USA by Jason Clark himself, so he makes these himself. These are not in some machine or some, overseas or anything like that. It's USA made. Lock type is a liner lock. It does engage pretty well, and if you notice, it is a really interesting angle in that liner lock. I find that really cool. It is titanium on steel, so it's been carbonized, but there's no lock stick. It's really quite fascinating how that works. Really solid. So I think that's really cool. The opening is going to be that flipper, and that's really it. There's no other way to open it, so it's flipper only, and that is really crazy sharp. So for me, I'm just going to flip it like that just because I'm tired of getting cut, and it's literally exposed a lot. So I'm just going to leave that alone. This will be it. All right, so that's the opening, and the closing is the liner lock, and again, that's got that weird jimping, so I don't know if that's super sharp, but if I push in, it's pretty easy to get by, and then the action's pretty nice. You do a little shake shut on there. So I think that's cool. That's cool. The blade is S90V. It's got a beautiful hollow grind with a nice swedge on top. It comes down to a nice thin edge. I will say that's for sure. S60 HRC for S90V is not bad. That's pretty good. Some people have done 61, 62. I've seen that. I know Machine Wise does 62, 63 sometimes. There's some arguments for it. I mean, some people say, well, it's still getting brittle. I think it's a matter of how well you do the heat treat. That's where some of those elements come into play, and how good you are at controlling those heats. So we'll just leave it at that. I'm not a metallurgist, so I just know, like, my S90V Mojave works fantastic, right? So, that's the 20 CV, but other people who I have an S90V Sonora that's going to be our 10K giveaway. I haven't given that away yet. So if you see this is before our 10K giveaway, that is S90V at 62 HRC. It's fantastic, crazy sharp, wonderful. So yeah, I mean, I think that's cool. The blade is fantastic. Let's do some measurements on this. This feels like it's around 3, maybe 3.5 ounces, maybe less than 3.5. I'm going to guess 3.5, maybe a little bit less. We'll see. I'm thinking 3.5, maybe 3.3. I don't know. 3 ounces. So it's definitely lighter. So 3 ounces, which is not bad. I mean, very minimal material, so that's good. All right, let's get the length on this guy. I think we're dealing with close to 8 inches. I'm not sure, maybe a little less. Yeah, 7 7/8. So it's a decent size, right? It's not a full size, but it's not. So here we have the length. It's going to be 3 5/8 is what you have. So for my hands, that's right at the max. This is not comfortable here, so I don't care for that. Yeah, so, there you go. You can, if you got very small, hobbit fingers or Oompa Loompa fingers. I mean, I don't know if that's the thing, but very small hands, right? If like my wife has really small hands, she could probably use that. But 3.5 inches from the tip to the back. The actual cutting length looks like 3 5/8. 3 3/8. Excuse me, 3 3/8. All right, let's do the blade stock thickness. So it's got a big swedge up here. I'm going to go right here and see what it is initially right here. So it's 136 thousandths of an inch. And if we were to open this up and let's measure this right here. Yeah, 136 thousandths of an inch. So it's pretty much the same. So, it's not super thin, but it's not super thick, but it does make it for a pretty sharp blade. And it comes out to a nice tip, great for poking into dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch. It does feel relatively sharp. I haven't done any sharpening or any cutting with this thing. So it was interesting to experience. I will say that much. All right, so that's the measurements. Okay, so let me see if I actually have what this price was. I want to say $750. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and post it up here if I can find it afterwards, what the price is, or if I find another way to figure it out. But we will have that price up here on that one. All right, so very cool. Very, very cool little knife. I think it was around $750, $850. That's what I'm going to guess. So This definitely falls into the mid-tech to custom range. So as far as the category is concerned, is purpose EDC hard use collection piece? Absolutely could be a collection piece. For many, it'll be just a collection piece. You could absolutely hard use and carry it for sure. I don't know if I would with this right here. I find that super crazy uncomfortable and cutting me. So I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. So I just want to make sure I don't keep going over that. I just go as high as I can so I don't touch it. All right. Overall design, handles, ergos, open and close, textures, jimping, clip, lanyard, all that stuff. No lanyard, as you can see. No jimping really effectively here or here. There's a little bit of some sort of texture here. I'll call that more. The natural canvas micarta has sort of a natural texture to it, which I think is pretty nice. It is pretty sharp. I would like for that to be more rounded. I don't care for this. That's not cool. For as well. The clip is pretty functional. It works. It's kind of thin, so you keep that in mind. It right hand tip up only. It will probably snag right there because it's smaller material, so, and the screws aren't recessed, so not sure if I'm a super fan. It's kind of tight there, I think. All right, as far as opening and closing, it's kind of cool with the liner lock. I think it does have good action. The flipper is nice if I could trust that flipper, but I think, you know, that it is what it is, right? So there you go. All right, so overall, what do I think about the Ergo's action flow design? I mean, it has some potential. It's a pretty looking knife. If I was ever to get into this blade shape, this is really done well, that I might actually consider this. Now, I call it recurve because right here it's kind of curving, but it's kind of flat and it gives a little bit of belly. That still is going to make that sharpening challenging when you get into that curve part right here. So that's where I'm not a super fan of it, but, you know, it's neat. It's very neat looking. I would go for a straighter drop point kind of looking blade. Reminds me of a Nessie or Nesmuk or whatever they call it, you know, one with a big old belly on there. So it kind of feels like a Nesmuk kind of hit it and made a drop point like that. So it's like a drop point and a Nesmuk or Nessie had a baby and this is it. So there you go. I think that's interesting. All right. And am I calling it right? The right belly? I don't know if I have it on my chart. I don't have it on my chart. That's one of those blade shapes that some folks have come up with. I'm looking behind me. There's a wall from Ben Peterson, his blade shapes, but it's not up there. So, all right. Yeah. Function-wise, it works. It's nice. I don't like this. That's a big hang up. So it's a killer for me. So design flow, yeah, it's a neat experience. I'm glad I checked it out. Right? I don't love it. I don't hate it. So there you go. Ergos could be better. So overall fidget factor, I'm going to give it a 3. And that's because the flipper works well if this wasn't. And that's me being very generous with a 3. If I really took this into account, I'd give it a 2 because I have to skip right past it. But I feel like this, I don't know if this was intentional. Man, every time I just touch it, I can feel it grabbing like it's sharper than this edge over here. Anyways, I'm going to give it a 3. Fidget factor, I'm going to give it a 70. It's a C minus. This is definitely a C minus because of this. It is not comfortable. I can't choke up. Sharp edges, barely a clip there. Recurve, all that stuff. This is the fidgety goodness. It's just not comfortable. This is sharp over here. I don't like it. I don't. So it's a C. So obviously, is it recommended? No. Absolutely not recommended. Like I said, if buy what you love and love what you buy. I don't like this knife. I will never buy it. I'm glad I got a chance to check it out. Absolutely out of the question for me. And if his other designs follow, you know, this recurve and this very tight construction here and this very sharp canvas, no, right? I do think there's a lot of potential here. Little finishes that I would love to see on a knife. There's so many custom knife makers. I bought some and I've, knife that looks so great and so fantastic. And I gotta check for these little finishes because they are the difference between a knife that I consider an evergreen that's gonna last and endure and those that don't, right? If I carry this enough with the cutting on my finger, I would be like this, I would just stop carrying it. And it's very sharp there too because it's gonna cut my knuckles if I go up too high. It would not. Here's a brand new knife that just came out. This is from Numb Knives, and all the little finishes right here are just spectacular. There's no sharp spot, like right here, it's rounded. It's at least sanded, whatever it is, even before they anodized it, it's just comfortable. And that to me, and here's a finger choil I can actually use, put my finger in, right? That's the kind of finishes, those are the stuff that I would expect in a custom, right? I know when I ordered my Trevor Burger, I get my Prince Customs, all of those knives, my Blade Works, my Skiff made blades, my HMC Transient, my Conic Arius, what is this one over here? Yeah, even my R&H Tasca 2. They all have those little finishes, and that's important to me, right? So, yeah, definitely not recommended. Definitely not a favorite. Interesting knife to experience. Thank you, Trish, for letting me check it out. I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of it. I know there's people who are going to love this, and that's fair. Again, don't let my opinion of a knife taint your decision whether to buy the knife. It is your money, your decision, your knife. Buy what you love and love what you buy, okay? Straight up, it is your call to do so. Don't let me influence that. You buy what you love, right? And if this fits your fingers, if you don't mind the edginess, or you file it down, and if you don't mind this super aggressive whatever this thing is here, then I'd say go for it. Absolutely go for it. There you go. Don't let my opinion, but love what you buy, man. There's stuff I love that you guys are gonna hate. It's okay. There's stuff that you buy that I'm not a fan of. It's okay. That's why there's so many designs out there. So don't get caught up on that. I'm giving you my opinion, what I look at, what matters to me. If you can relate to these, cool. If those are things you're willing to overlook, even cool, right? So anyways, I just want to point that out. All right, so let's do a quick little zoom in here. I will point out this beautiful blade. Love the swedge, love the hollow grind. I think that's really nice. Then we have the nice natural canvas micarta, which is quite stunning and beautiful. It's got some T6 screws. I think they're T6. They almost look like T5s. We've got the liners in here. They're full titanium. You've got the lock bar in there. You've got that unique jimping right there. That is pretty aggressive. And this is that really sharp, aggressive jimping. I don't know if you can see that. It is crazy sharp, and it catches right there. Oof, yeah, so anyways, and then you have right here, it's just edgy, right? And then this very small. Now, I got big old meaty fingers, man. I can barely, putting two fingers together, I can't get two fingers in there. I'm like right here to here. I'm like having this part dig into my fingers because that's how wide they are. So, the backspacer, the floating backspacer, I do like that. I think it's a beautiful touch, and it fits part of that S90V blade steel. I think it's stunning. Fits like what they do with the Shaman. I love the floating backspacer. You can see that. I do like the fact that he has this little text in here. I think that has something to do with caged bearings and then the S90V. I don't think there's any writing on the inside. No, there's not, right? And then you have this clip. I mean, it's functional, but it's very thin. And you got screws sticking up, not recessed. And it's kind of low. You're going to get about that much sticking out. So some people, they might be okay with it. You don't have captive pivot, but I'm going to guess one side is glued and the other one's not. It is a unique design on the pivot. I think that's really cool. And then you've got that blade shape. So yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead and zoom out so we can get a nice little shot for the thumbnail and take a look at it. I hope Trish is not mad at me for being deathly honest about this knife. It has nothing to do with Trish at all. I appreciate her sharing this with me, and she knows I'm going to be honest. I think she's totally realizing that. But it's not going to work for big old meaty fingers. I'll just tell you this. This is not a big meaty finger kind of knife. If you've got thinner fingers, I think you might enjoy this a lot more. Okay, that's what it comes down to. This is more for thinner, longer, maybe fingers. I think they'll be more enjoyable. But if you got big old meaty fingers like me, maybe he has a different design that's a little wider. I don't know. All right, that's my thoughts on this knife. Let me know what you think. If you have a Clark Customs, let me know. Does he have other knives? Maybe he has other versions out there that I don't know about. That would be more meaty finger friendly. I would be very interested to know that. I really would, if there are, because I gotta figure that maybe I'm not the only one with big old meaty fingers, right? So, all right. If you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting that like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. Subscribing and liking the channel, it really does help out. It does. It really does. Thank you. And if you do that, like and subscribe, it allows me to do more things, channel grow, be able to do things for you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't already, maybe consider hitting the notification button as well so you can be notified of future content like this and other videos. By the way, this is $6.50. I just found that out. So $6.50. Which is more reasonable for what you get. If you like the channel, definitely all that good stuff. Now, channel members, let me say thank you. You do two things for me. You encourage me, thank you. Second of all, because your generous support, you allow me to do things way sooner than I ever thought I could. Once a month, budget banger giveaways, check out things, be able to cover costs because I'm gonna have to ship this back to her. All those things, I appreciate you channel members. Thank you, thank you. It's a way for me to say thank you. Brand new channel members, I'd love to mail you a channel sticker and a thank you note. So if you're a brand new channel member, email me your name and address so I can mail you a channel sticker and a thank you note. Secondly, you're eligible for the once a month members exclusive giveaway. So every week we'll have a budget banger giveaway, but then that 1 week in a month, we'll have a budget members exclusive giveaway along with the budget banger. So it'll be 2 giveaways. You're eligible for both. One channel member has actually won both, just so you know. It can happen. Very rare, but it can happen. And usually the budget banger, the members exclusive giveaway is not a budget banger giveaway. It is a little something nicer, more premium, right? So I try to make sure it's something that hopefully you enjoy receiving as a win or giving as a gift. So there you go. If any of that sounds interesting, like you say, well, that's really cool. Maybe you like the idea of the special emojis. Yes, you do get special emojis as a member. Maybe you like the idea of the exclusive content. Yes, you do get exclusive content. That's for sure. And maybe you like the idea of, I don't know, the 1 year, 2 year anniversary stuff. Yes, you do get all of that. So if any of that sounds interesting or cool to you guys, let me know. I do have a link down below in the description. It has 3 different tiers. Would love to have you as a member. Don't ever do it because you feel obligated or forced or anything like that. Please, just be a part of the channel. I would love for that just to be there. So thank you. But if you do choose to become a channel member, I would be honored. I'm very grateful. Thank you. All right. If you haven't already, maybe check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.